Losing someone is never too easy, and living without your partner in your whole life is never as better or as wonderful as it could be. June 23, we are commemorating the World Widows Day, giving the opportunity for these widows to talk about their plight, to talk about the injustice they are going through, and of course other challenges that comes as a widow. Notwithstanding, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us on Viewpoint tonight to talk certain issues concerning Cameroon, and why not the reconstruction of the Northwest and the Southwest region and school resumption in the course of this coronavirus pandemic. With us here in the studio, we are having a beautiful lady, all African. I'm talking of Mrs. Tala Caroline. She is a teacher from the Dbs International School of Applied Sciences, and we have Mange Venashus. But then I will turn to the lady, Caroline. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, Vanessa, and good evening to all televiewers of Dan Broadcasting Television.
Mange Venashus, good evening, and once more, you're welcome.
Good evening, Vanessa, and good evening to our viewers. You know, I was surprised when you introduced about today being a Widow's Day. And got a chill. I don't know why.
You got chill. You don't know why.
Maybe.
But then it's just today to talk about the plight of these widows. You know, they got a lot of difficulties and challenges in the hands of their family members.
Actually, it's an experience that no one would wish to go through. Yes.
So we use this platform as an opportunity to commemorate this day with them, to tell them that we share in their pain or in their joy. Better still, let us have a transition, and we'll be right back for the first part of the show. Reconstruction plan of the Northwest and the Southwest regions. Is the project serious? I begin with you, Miss Caroline.
No.
Mange Venashus.
Yes, Vanessa, it is.
It is serious. Question 2. Is there anything needed from the population for the success of the above mentioned project? Mrs.
I really don't think.
You don't think the people have a role to play?
Yeah.
No. Mange Venashus.
They do.
They do have a role. And our last question: has the reopening of schools any link with the rising number of COVID-19 cases in Cameroon? Mange Venashus.
It does.
It does. And to you?
No,
it doesn't. Let us come back for the debate while we set the pace for you all. Our first question, we ask whether the reconstruction plan of the Northwest and the Southwest regions is the project serious. And Mrs. Tala, you said the project is not serious. Yesterday, we all know that a finding mission and awareness and a sensitization team or campaign went to Bamenda to educate the population, to talk to them on how the reconstruction plan is going to take place. And you think that it's not serious, given that they're already on the ground for works to begin?
I would start by saying that, Vanessa, when you hear the term reconstruction, it carries a lot of positivity when you just hear the term. But hold on. Now you're asking yourself, what have been destroyed? Who are the victims? What are they reconstructing, or who are they reconstructing? That's why I think that we can't start climbing a ladder from the last rung. You definitely start climbing a ladder from the bottom rung. Reconstruction, when they talk about reconstruction, going to reconstruct the Northwest and the Southwest, we are looking at what are they really reconstructing, Vanessa? That's my big question. What are they reconstructing? Because you realize that the people, those things existed. The people were still not satisfied. The people were still angry at something. They destroyed them. You haven't solved their problem. You haven't given them what they want. You haven't heard their plight or their cry. But yet you're going to reconstruct. So I really don't know if I am understanding the term reconstruction like every other Cameroonian, or maybe they have another definition of reconstruction.
All right, so that makes you think that the project is not serious. But don't you think that all the houses that were burned, those locals living in their bushes, this would permit them to come back and live
Vanessa,
a normal life like they
I
used
will
to?
tell you that it's just like looking at somebody with HIV. You understand? If somebody has HIV because the person had been living a wayward life, you heal the person of HIV, the person goes back to a wayward life. The person definitely will still contract the same HIV through the same means. But if you heal this person and you help the person, you guide the person and enable the person to come out or understand that you contracted this because of this. So helping you out of this will make you not go back to contract this same HIV. I think it is the same. I'm trying to relate it to the scenario. People had complaints. They even talked about the, how do we call it, the national dialogue, if I remember very well,
the
national dialogue, which was a whole show. Because after all of that, we've not had any solution. What have you done to help the people? What have you done that the people didn't want? Even talking about, they said, what was that again?
Special status.
Special status. But we don't feel the special status. We don't know about it. How does it exist? Is it only on paper or what? Now you're talking about reconstruction. What led to the destruction before now you're reconstructing? Have you tried to solve the problem that led to the destruction? Because constructing doesn't make sense. If you construct and the people are not happy, they will still destroy. But if you construct, making the people happy, meeting to their other needs that they have laid before you, you understand? I think that then they would appreciate the reconstruction. They would like what you're doing. They would join you even in the reconstruction. But because like yesterday in the Northwest province, Northwest region, we heard that it was ghost town. People weren't going out, and maybe even today, I don't know. Why? There you just see that the people have a grudge. They are not happy. They are not sincerely happy about what the term reconstruction, I'll just say in quotes, because it's just a drama to me. It's just a drama.
All right, given that the awareness and sensitization campaign is currently ongoing and it will go on for 2 weeks, don't you think that is a way of preparing the people psychologically, first of all, before going to the physical aspect of reconstruction?
Preparing people is not by force. Preparing people is a dialogue. It's a dialogue. And the first sign already tells you that the people are not happy. Even after you have held the national dialogue, what are you doing? There are still killings every day. There are still casualties, whether from the military or from the civilians or from the victims or the perpetrators or whatever. I don't know which term to use, but I think that a life is what's important, whether from the military or from the civilian, and even from the, how do you call it, Amber boys, the separatists, something like that. Yes, they should value life.
They should value life.
Life should be valued.
Thank you very much for your viewpoint, Miss Caroline. Mange Fenashus, you are rather saying that the reconstruction plan is serious. Given that her points, she was asking the question, what is actually, or what are they actually reconstructing? You're in the better position to answer that, given that you think that the project is serious.
Yes, Vanessa, I think we are mixing terms here when we talk of reconstruction. Actually, it presupposes, replacing what existed before. And before this crisis, we are already close to 4 years into this crisis. Life in the Northwest and Southwest regions was not what we have. People have been living in the bushes. People can go about their daily activities. Like she cited, the Northwest region and the Northwest and Southwest regions are experiencing an additional 2 days of ghost town. Mondays have been an unofficial institution of ghost towns in the regions. They've added Tuesday and Wednesday because of this fact-finding mission. That is in the Northwest. From the Northwest, we'll go right up to the Southwest and ends on the 3rd of July. But the problem is, how serious is this project? I think that when she was speaking, she did mention the fact that the people were angry. I think that the government has understood that this is what is happening, and for the people to come back, and then you cannot keep solving a crisis when the people are in the bushes. Let us reconstruct the schools. Let us reconstruct the hospitals, the homes that were destroyed, and then when the people come back to their localities, to their villages, we can now talk about solving their grudges. But for now, we cannot allow them. They are Cameroonians. They are citizens who are living a kind of life that, Vanessa, we need to step foot in these two regions. When you go to Bamenda and Boya, you have a different picture. But then go in away from this regional headquarters, go into the interiors of the villages, and you will discover what people are going through. I think that it is a project they want to give them a second chance. It is a war that is ongoing there. People are no more living life in a normal way. So we want to reconstruct the villages, reconstruct their lives, and they should come back. Remember, this mission is on a fact-finding mission and sensitization. Mm-hmm. They want to find out what has been destroyed, how can we rebuild it. That is the 2-week mission that the Prime Minister gave this presidential plan task force to make sure that they find out the problem, because they will go from Bamenda to Boya on the 3rd of July. They are expected to come out with something concrete before work starts. Because if they just went into the field to start reconstructing, we'll be asking the question, who or what are we reconstructing? Remember, some time ago, about 2 months ago, they came out with close to 12,000 structures that are to be constructed. Mm-hmm. But then they are going down into the field now to get a feel of what is there. We need to build a house in this village. We need to build a school. We need to build a school, a hospital. I think that is what they are going to do.
From your point of view, I get to understand that it has to do only with the physical infrastructure.
Exactly.
There is a word attached to their mission: fact-finding and sensitization.
But from your points to demonstrate that the project is serious, you're just talking about the physical construction of the region.
Of course, we know that the psychological impact of the war weighs a lot too on the people. That's a fact. That is why they are on the field to sensitize the people, on the need for that reconstruction.
But you're going to sensitize people when they're all in the bushes. Who are you sensitizing? Yesterday, no, but practically, I don't know if the population came out. Because if you're going and to sensitize people, the people need to come out to hear what you have to say. But I don't know, who are they sensitizing?
Actually, you see, this exercise is like when you want to woo a woman. For us men, you not expect to just to say, young lady, and she stands looking at you. At times you tell her, she insults you. Do you go back because she insulted you? If you go back, it means you were not serious. You have to persist. You have to insist to let the girl or the woman know that, no, this young man may be serious. And then the third attempt would, at least she would give you a listening ear. I think once they go out to talk to the people, actually they did not come out, but then once they show the seriousness that we mean business, we are real in what we are trying to do, I think they would be able to convince the people to cooperate with them, because they cannot construct the Northwest and Southwest region without the people. Exactly. And if you look at the appointment of the director and his assistants, all of them are sons from the Northwest and Southwest region. That is why they know that Mr. Paul Tassong is from the Southwest region, Njong Donatus is from the Northwest region. You talk to your people. I think that is the strategy that the government is trying to use to, the sensitization, to work on the psychology of the people. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for your viewpoint. Mrs. Stella, you may want to add something.
It's just funny because when we look at it, we realize that they're not the first people who have been sent for whatever fact-finding or whatever mission. So many have gone and come back, and we are waiting for results, and we've never had results, but they keep sending. Maybe, anyway, it can be true that you don't get tired, as he said. You don't get tired. But there's certain, when you go and you come back and the people don't react the way you're expecting, it's time for you to stay calm, retrospect, think about what do these people really want. Maybe if we meet to their needs, all this will come to an end. We need to see how this battle comes to an end. What are we really reconstructing? In short, the whole of Cameroon needs reconstruction. It's not only the Northwest and the Southwest. It's not only the Northwest and the Southwest that need the whole of Cameroon.
Correct.
We still have areas that don't have hospitals.
Maybe we'll get to touch other parts of Cameroon in another edition. Let us take our second question for tonight. Is there anything needed from the population for the success of the projects? We are talking of the reconstruction of the Northwest and the Southwest regions. And Miss Caroline, you think that there is nothing, there is
What
no
would
way
the
the
people do,
population
Vanessa?
can help?
I don't know what the people can do when there are still killings, there are still shootings, there are still ghost towns. Release the forerunners of this battle. Release them. You know, sometimes the leaders are very important. If you meet the leaders, definitely, like when you come to a house and you knock at the door. If the father of the house says don't open, I don't think anybody would open. Definitely. So release the forerunners of this crisis. Declare a bilateral ceasefire. Because take the armies back to their barracks. Take the army back to their barracks. Try to meet the needs, the demands of the people. Because if you don't meet their demands, what do you think the people have to contribute again? Is it dancing the same song? Dancing to the same tune? Dancing the same manner all the time? Going backward and forward? No.
Don't you think the population could go out and say enough is enough?
But
We
they've
no
done
longer
that.
need the military. We no longer need the so-called amber
That's
boys.
the
We
nth
need-
time. That's the nth time that they are doing that. They have cried. Women have come out. We used to know that the voice of a woman, the cry of a woman, can stop anything. The cry of children can stop anything. Women have come out. Children have come out. They won't stop to this. They want to go back to their normal lives. They want to live life like every other Cameroonian. I think that we are not more Cameroonian than others. We are all Cameroonians. Listen to them. Solve their problems first. Don't think about going to reconstruct the hospitals that were okay, we're talking about reconstruction. This grandmother in the interior whose house was burnt, who has become homeless, would they reconstruct a house for the woman? Are we reconstructing human beings, or we are just reconstructing effigies? Hospitals, schools, offices that were burnt and destroyed. What about the human? If you build all of those and there are no humans to benefit from, it serves no purpose.
It serves no purpose.
It serves no
Boiling
purpose.
down to the point that the population has no role to play in the reconstruction
so.
process. Manga Venashus, maybe you could tell us what role the population has to play. She just said as long as there is gunshots exchanges between the two camps, it is not possible. You are building edifices. Where will the people come from to benefit from this? But you are saying that the population has a role to play. So what can they do?
Yes, Vanessa, it's just like we are faced with a crisis, and we need a beginning from somewhere. It is a fact that other fact-finding missions had failed. It is a fact that other commissions have been set up and they have failed. But that does not mean that we are already left to our fate. No.
No, but it's time to find out what made them fail.
Correct. That is why you discover that they have changed the strategy. That's why you discover that instead of thinking that we can just go there and impose, we want to sensitize the people first. I think you were asking something about what the grandmother in the village would do. That is where the team has a task to sensitize them. Let that woman see that we are out for your good. I listened to one Northwesterner. He's an influential Northwesterner, peace crusader. Talking of Nico Halley, he said, if we are sincere to handle this crisis, then we need to be truthful. What I mean by truthful here is, if these women, if they were truthful, if the population of the Northwest and Southwest regions, I mean the civilian population, if they were truthful about the end of this crisis, I think we would have ended. Vanessa, I will tell you that there are some localities that boldly said, we don't want the Amber Boys.
Exactly.
And they don't exist. There is this kind of complicity between the Amber Boys and the population. A thief can never break into a village without the complicity of the villagers.
Do you think the population has the necessary tool to fight these armed boys?
It's not necessarily. It's not necessarily.
So how can they stand in the face of this?
It is not
challenges?
fighting them. It is denouncing them. Denouncing them means, Vanessa, the military does not master the terrain.
We've heard of the deaths of so many people who died in the course of trying to denounce these separatist fighters. But then let's not boil to that. We are here to talk about the role of the population in the reconstruction of the Northwest and the
That is what we mean. If the population comes out to cooperate with this fact-finding mission, we would know of the woman who is in that village, in that interior, whose house was burned. We would know of these other schools. We would know of the need of the. When we talk of the need of the people, let us leave the global need of the people that we want. They are talking about marginalization. Marginalization is not, but we let the people come out, dialogue with this fact-finding mission. Let I'm bringing a message, a parcel for you. If you don't open up to receive the parcel, you will not know what is in the parcel. Receive the parcel. Let me unveil the parcel, and then that may be a solution to that. To all those claims we were laying. Those claims were justifiable. But then until we learn to dialogue, until we learn to be sincere, until we learn to be truthful, that we want an end to this crisis. I mean, truthful from both camps. Then we may not be heading anywhere. But then let the people cooperate with them. Give them another chance so that we can see where they will end, and then we will come back to
and then we will come back. All right, let us take our third question. Miss Caroline, you said that the reopening of schools have a link to do with the rising number of COVID-19.
No, the reopening of schools, really, I don't see it contributing to the rise of the numbers of the COVID-19 in our country today. Now, since schools were reopened, you realize that we haven't recorded any casualties or any infections from the schools as a child, or in this school we have this number of cases and all whatnot. But I think
from
that
the teachers.
or from the teachers.
Okay.
But you realize that it is said that this virus doesn't move. We are the ones who move with them. I think that the increase in numbers is not really directly linked to the reopening of schools. It is linked to other factors like the reopening of borders, the uplifting of the bans. Like, I will tell you, I think it would surprise you to know that now that you and I are talking, many Cameroonians know that coronavirus does not exist in Cameroon anymore. Why? Because from the day they allow go to the market, life is just normal. Even the wearing of masks, go to the bars, go to opening bars. I don't see anybody drinking. Would you take a bottle, wear your face mask? I mean, the rules, and we already know those rules. Every day you hear them: wash your hands, sanitize your hands, keep a distance. It's already a normal song. So the reopening of schools, but yet we still, going back to the reopening of schools, Vanessa, I would like to go back to that point in the sense that, remember that they said this virus stays on objects for a while. When schools had to be reopened, the children, nobody was inhabiting those schools, meaning that those viruses did not even exist in those schools. But they went around talking about spraying the schools, disinfecting the schools and all whatnot. But I want to find out, now that the schools have reopened, how many times have they gone back
to disinfect
the schools? Because that's what we needed now, not before. Because I think that before the children went back to school, those viruses did not exist in the schools. But now that they are there, that's when the schools are supposed to be disinfected on daily basis. But that's not being done. That's not being done.
You are with the students almost every day.
Yes, that's not being done in schools. But I think that every conscious administrator of the school will take that as a personal challenge now, to do that for the sake of their school, for the sake of their children, for the sake of keeping the image of their school. They're trying to do that on daily basis. But I mean, going back to the beginning, we only like talking. What are they doing? It needs to be consistent.
It needs to be consistent.
It needs to be consistent. So the reopening of schools, I don't see it counting to the numbers or increasing. Because as of today, I got something like 12,000.
Yes, we're almost getting to that.
Yes, 12,041, something like that. It keeps skyrocketing on daily basis. Where are they taking them from? Where are they coming from? Movements, unnecessary gatherings, violation of rules. You know, when you give children rules and regulations, and at one point you realize the person realizes that, oh, these rules are no longer respected. Freedom is something difficult to control. When you've given somebody freedom, to curb that freedom or to curb that person back, it's a huge challenge. Everywhere we are just living life as normal. So it's definite that the number should keep increasing.
It should keep increasing. Mangevina Shuse, she just said since the schools reopen, we've not had any case from the students, from the teachers, and so it is not as a result of school reopening that the numbers keep skyrocketing. But you think that it has a role to play in this?
Of course, Vanessa. I think that the argument has not been taken to the end, because I like somewhere at the end of her argument, she was saying that it comes from gathering, from movement around. It's true. Before schools resumed, classes were locked, students were at home. Now these children are bringing the viruses from their respective neighborhoods to the school, and nothing is happening concerning disinfecting those areas. But then another fact is testing has not been carried out, because when you look at these students, the concept of wearing of mask, social distancing, I think it is a dream, it is a song. Because when you just stand from a distance and see them when they're closed, you see them moving in a group, 3, 4, 5 of them, holding hands without a mask. Some have it in their pocket because they will inspect it at the entrance to the school. I doubt what happens in the classrooms. Teachers should tell us whether actually in class they succeed. The pupils, the students succeed in wearing the mask, because even us adults, we find it difficult to wear them. And if the numbers rising is because we have not succeeded in respecting the safety protocols. It is just a simple 1 + 1, which is 2, that letting children go back to school would increase the virus. Vanessa, I think we have not reached the peak, because just give some 2 weeks and carry out a sample testing of our students. You would discover that the number would increase from where it was. Simple question is, why did we close schools on the 17th of March? Why did we close schools on the 17th of March? Human life is far more than exams. Because these children may end up contaminating their families, contaminating their quarters, their neighborhoods, contaminating themselves. And when they passed the exams, who would go to a superior class? Who would take care of them? I think that it would have been preferable schools remain closed. The rising number of COVID-19 cases in Cameroon has an implicit link yes, with the school resumption. Because these children move from neighborhood to neighborhood. They bring it from quarter A to quarter B because they will intermingle in school.
But you need to also remember that even before while the schools were closed, these children were still moving. Some were sent to hawk in the markets. Some were sent to go visit their aunties and their uncles.
Those are irregular actions.
But the government should take those measures and make sure, like in every neighborhood or every junction, there is a standby security, or yes, I think so, a standby security to check that anybody moving is respecting the rules. Now look at even the taxis. Whether I wear my mask or I don't wear my mask, if I stop a taxi, the taxi man will take me. He doesn't bother if I'm wearing a mask or not. And even if I enter, how have you experienced social distancing in a taxi?
Which is not up to 3 meters.
Which is not up to 3 meters. You see that? So the government should station disciplinary measures, station certain things that will make the people know that something has to be done and something is happening, and that's without which it's not only about schools, it's about everybody.
It's about everybody. Thank you very much, Miss Tala Caroline, for coming. It has been a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. The pleasure is mine.
Mange Venashus, I hope to see you again tomorrow.
Hopefully I will be there.
And to you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you also for watching Viewpoint on DBS television. Tomorrow we'll be back again, same time, same TV station. Until we meet or until we come your way, do not go away, because DBS has the best to offer you tonight. Good night.